But if you feel brave, Cristiano, like if you feel up for it, you take a step off this ledge right into the pool.
How deep it is?
16 feet deep.
I'll probably do it.
This is the Aoki's Playhouse. So we have a lot of fun things in the house, mainly art, toys, a lot of fashion stuff, collectibles. This is like the main floor. You got the view of Las Vegas right there, which is really nice, especially at night. You get to see the whole strip lit up.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Cool. This piece right here is this artist named Mr. Brainwash. We did a collaboration together. And Bruce Lee has been like a longtime hero of mine since I was a kid. So like, we gotta do something cool with Bruce Lee. This is my bedroom.
Oh, that's cool right there.
Yeah, but I think one of the cool parts of this room, to be honest with you, is this room back here.
You could use this for the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon,
That's
or
right.
also Conan the Barbarian too.
Oh, he had a mirror scene?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, at the very end. At the very end.
And then this is the library.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, books and vinyl.
The vinyl thing is super cool.
Yes.
I should have kept mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bulky.
Yeah.
You know, so when you, like, I remember my friends after I left college, they were like, we can't move with this vinyl, it's too heavy. And I was like, I'll take it. I'm a big shoe collector, so this is...
I can see.
This is some of the shoes. The shoe room that not everyone sees is actually in here. They're more like pieces of art now. I don't wear them. Sometimes I might wear them for a music video shoot or like a red carpet.
So what's your shoe size?
Size 9, sample size.
All right, I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna send you a shoe that you don't have in your collection.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh man,
guarantee.
you're gonna get me excited over here. Okay, so this room is all about toys.
Wow.
This room originally was a hallway, and I carpeted the floors and the ceiling and the walls. It just feels like super comfortable. People want to sleep in here, you know.
I like those characters with that style.
Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
cool. We talk about immersive experience a lot with 5G, but this is a really immersive experience.
You put your legs up.
Yeah, okay.
All right, ready? 1,
Right.
2, 3. The overall theme of Aoki's Playhouse is fun. So every room I'm thinking about is like, how can we add a little unique element? Originally, this was a racquetball court. So we took this whole thing out here, and I put this piece in. This was never here, this terrace piece, because I wanted to have 2 floors to work out. And I wanted to be able to jump in the foam pit, very important. I've done tons of shows here. So we have the green screen here. I got my GoPro set up, and I'll rock out a set and I'll play here for hours. So yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, just
Very
get the
cool.
vibe going, you get the music going. You know, what they're doing now is they're becoming more self-autonomous, where before you have to have a CD, right? Now it's gone from CD to an SD or USB, right? And now it's getting to the point where these are going to become their own computers, and people will just download or stream a track online. And guess what you need? You need high-speed connectivity. Because you can't do that without having high-speed connectivity, right? So when that happens and that becomes more out there, that clubs have this high-speed connectivity, anyone can DJ any song at any given place. I used to tow in records. I could only play the 60 records that I brought. So you go from 60 records 15 years ago to having unlimited access to the internet.
That's pretty cool.
It's incredible.
And we're gonna call those guys up to put a 5G modem in here.
We definitely, that's what we need. I mean, because that's the thing, you know, I play all around the world, and I also want to play where I am in the country's music. I get inspired and I hear this new sound, and I don't have the access to it right there. So if I'm like with some DJs and they're like, yo, you gotta play this record, everyone's gonna go crazy. I'm like, quickly download it. That's what I usually do. And they go somewhere, they log in, they download, they put it on the SD, they give me the SD. I have to put in their SD in my unit. Now, if you can change that and boom, yo, I could download it right here. I can stream it right here off the unit because you have 5G, you have that capability. It's a game changer. You know, it's just exciting where technology is going, or the access to be able to play so much music to so many different people to all around the world is incredible.
Just hearing you talking about that gives a lot of ideas when we think about how people are going to be connected, how we connect digital spaces, physical spaces. This is a great example of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ready?
You
On the
call
count of
it.
3. 1, 2, 3. Wait! This room right here, Cristiano, is what pays the bills of my entire life. It's my studio. It's where the magic happens.
That is the place.
This is the place. This is my office. So when I come to Qualcomm and I step in your office, now you stepped into my office. Well, we made it down here to the studio, Cristiano. I'm glad, you know, we did the whole tour. I've been looking forward to this. And now it's time to make some music. Come on.
Yeah. No, look, thank you very much. It's really nice of you. You know, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Remember when you came to Snapdragon Tech Summit about 2 years ago? Seems like a long time ago.
I know, yeah.
You know, I figured Steve's going to be the right person to connect music and technology, and I'm glad we're having this conversation today.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, my whole album is called Neon Future. Exactly what you said. I believe not just in the merging of music and technology, but in human and technology. I'm very much far advanced in the space of where I like to, with my music, I like to connect with the futurists that really think about where we're going with tech. So I'm all about the future of where we're going with tech, you know, where we're going with humanity and music, of course, all three.
Look, you know, when we look about, you know, creating as a company, we're a company that create, you know, fundamental technology that allow people to invent and on top of that platform, you know, create incredible new things. And what we like about where we are right now, especially when we look at, you know, this transition of the industry to 5G, this is going to be an opportunity for a lot of people to create, especially when we think about not only music, but video. A technology like 5G will make everyone a broadcaster, you know, 4K video. And connecting everybody together and the ability to have a lot of sharing experience, you know, it's you know, besides being a key ingredient of our future digital economy, it's going to have an impact in arts and creativity. And I think it's interesting to get your perspective as an artist, how you think about that.
The input and the output that goes out of this room alone, if I don't have the tech, the speed and the capability to do it fast, and I'm sitting here rendering and I'm sitting here waiting for files, it's just that, I remember those days. I remember those days just sitting around waiting for something to download, waiting for stems to render, waiting for all these things to print. And the faster it is, you're not stuck in this bottleneck of creativity. I mean, just on that basis alone, I'm always thinking, can we go faster? Can we do this quicker? Because it's all about being in the flow. I don't want to disrupt the flow. And when I think about 5G, and you guys are talking about that, I'm thinking about this is going to make my life more streamlined, more efficient. This is what I need.
You know, just listen to you describing, and actually before I came here when you showed me your stage 2, you know, just if I kind of overlay what we think, you know, a 5G mature world will be, it can, you know, change the way you do things. Like one of the things we talk a lot about the potential of 5G, besides the high speed, the connectivity, is the ability for you to do computing on demand. You need computing power, you're instantly connected to the cloud, as if the cloud and your computer were connected into a single machine. And so whether you're here, whether you're somewhere else, you can always get access. If you're on a laptop, if you're on your phone, you can, if you need the processing power of your studio, you'll be able to do it in the cloud with 5G. And I like this thing when you talk about in general connectivity about I have to wait.
Yeah.
And that points to, you know, one of the interesting use cases for 5G in music is how to deal with concerts. Like people go to concerts and they wanted to share their experience. They want to post it. They want to capture video, or even, if you could interact with them. And existing networks, you don't have the ability. There's no bandwidth to do that.
Right, exactly.
People get very frustrated in a concert,
Yeah.
and we all want to go back to concerts. I think post the pandemic, and this with the 5G bandwidth, the speeds we can get, for example, out of millimeter wave. We're now talking about having wireless fiber, and people will be able not only to share their experience, but have that in real time and probably interact among themselves on multiple locations. So I was thinking about this when you showed me stage 2. You can be there,
right?
And from there, you can project directly to a concert or a club and test it in real time versus having to be there. And I think those how technology is going to probably change a lot of those experiences, I think, for artists and for music.
Yeah, I just remember like going to festivals, you have to turn on airplane mode because there's just no point. Like it's just like waiting for it to send, waiting, you know what I mean? Like you're like getting the content. Of course, just like, like everyone else. When you're at Coachella, you're at Ultra, you're at EDC, you want to be posting everything. I mean, you can't. You just can't. It's just like, it's like literally like a big wall has gone over the whole place. It's just great to hear that there's the possibility of things that just open up, and have this like instant connectivity. Because that's what we want in the end. It doesn't matter if it's like through a phone or through human to human. We want to be connected to each other. And I feel like that's why I travel so much around the world and do what I do, because I have this addiction to connectivity. I want to connect with people constantly. Music is just a tool. Making music is just a tool for me to connect with someone else. And the best part for me is that I get to see that connection happening. So I make something happen. I feel it makes me feel a certain way, right? I'm like, wow, I feel so strongly about this song, and it makes me feel this way, so extraordinary. I want someone else to feel that. So now when I put that out in the world, a lot of producers don't get to see that. I get to see it because I get to go to the show, and I'm scanning. I'm like a robot scanning the crowd and looking for the most connected person to that song that I made. And I see it, like I zone in right on that person. I don't care about the 10,000 people in front of me. All I care about is that one person's like pulling their hair out, screaming, crying, singing along, and they don't care about what anyone else thinks around them. And I'm like, all I care about is you.
One of the most powerful, if I could say that way, transformative elements of 5G, especially when you think consumers, right, is that we honestly believe at Qualcomm that 5G will end up changing what we call the computing platform. So the computer platform, I'm sure, started your experience with computers with your PC. Now your computer they use most of the time is your phone. And we're thinking about what's the next generation consumer platform. And we think the next generation consumer platform are likely going to be like glasses for augmented reality.
Right.
So now let's just put this technology and this experience you just described. Think about you're in that show and you're wearing glasses that look like this one, has cameras on it, and you're connected with this virtually infinite bandwidth, which is 5G in real time. And that thing that you're the only one that can see as you are in the show, and you capture that person, you can share with everybody.
Wow.
Right. So in real time. So that ability to connect people and connect the audience with the artists and vice versa is one of those things that technology can come in and overlay. And I think what I like about this conversation, Steve, is in the pandemic 2020, everybody went through their lockdown.
Yeah.
But because of technology, they kind of remain connected, right? So I'm sure if you're going to call me on my cell phone, maybe at some point you're going to say, Cristiano, can we do a Zoom call? It became like a verb.
Yeah, exactly.
And people said, I'm now used to see you in video.
Yeah.
And think
this
about
is rare.
Yeah. So
this is rare right now. What we're doing.
Yeah. But think about taking that to the next level. I think the next level you're gonna be able to overlay image of people like augmented reality in what you see, render their avatar, or you can share with others. So there's a lot of interesting use case and application of this 5G technology, and I like to see how do you apply it to music. As we're talking, having this conversation about music and art, and I think there's a large number of use cases you can apply.
Yeah. Guys, by the way, Cristiano's in San Diego right now. He looks like he's in Las Vegas, but he's not. No, I'm just kidding. It'll happen one of these days. Like, I'll be like, boom, like in Star Wars, like, you know, like you just like,
You know, Steve, we've been in the mobile industry for a long time, and you know, it's been fascinating to us. I've been fortunate enough in my history at Qualcomm to be in every single one of those wireless transitions. I work in cellular my whole career, and you know, the role of music is interesting. So when, you know, we started to move from 2G to 3G, and, you know, we all had our flip phones or candy bar phones, and we started to see like music phones. But then as we went from 3G to 4G, and we started to have broadband, the revolution was incredible. All of a sudden, you could have music streamed to you. Really, I think the 4G smartphone, how people experience music, it was probably a revolution as big as like the Sony Walkman. Now, when we think about 5G, the 5G, it's I honestly think it's going to take this to the next level, because what is going to happen is not only you are going to be able to do that with music, but you'll be able to do that with music videos, because video is going to be as easy as streaming music. No matter what signal level you have, you're going to be able to play like 4K video resolution, and in both directions. Wow. And when you think about how people consume music, you know, I'm just speculating, but I think the technology will allow people to share their music moments, you know, and as people kind of literally be able to broadcast yourselves. But that's our perspective from a technology side. From your perspective, looking at on the other side, you know, on the pure music, how do you think about the role of the smartphone, and then how you think about the future?
You have to be, as a producer, you have to know the pulse of what the world is doing. If you want to be relevant, right? How are they listening to music? And it's like you said, like I have to know where people are going to go with technology, how they're going to listen to music. And if they're going to be listening to music on smartphones, which is what they do, you have to understand that's why, like I said, when I produce, I always listen on every different medium. You have to think just enough ahead, but not too far ahead. Because if you think too far ahead, they won't get it. It goes right over their heads. So the sweet spot, that sweet spot between too far ahead and right where everyone's on point, that sweet spot, if you nail that, you're successful.
By the way, you said something which was really important, and I have to unpack that. You said something about people consuming music in their phones, and the music needs to be designed, you know, for the technology they have in their phone. We'll make a prediction that people will continue to consume music in phones, and I said before, one thing that 5G will do is going to extend that experience to concerts. And the pandemic, as people could not go to concerts, and you were showing me how you're, you know, kind of broadcasting from your studio, and people will be able to see that in their phones. But once you have the 5G connectivity, people experience that in 4K high definition. Sometimes they can have a fully immersive experience with virtual reality devices, and more important, they can interact with you in real time. So I definitely think we're going to the right direction there.
That's so cool when you think about how to interact with people in real time. That you could do around the world, that you could do and engage with people that you couldn't have done before, you know. So it's exciting to see where it's going. And I remember hearing about this, and I'm like, I need to see this. I need to have this at my shows, you know. Like, and also like I remember seeing technology when I was at the summit, at the Qualcomm summit, and in Maui, and I was seeing that like there's people that are in the you know, nosebleed seats. They get like a better view of the stage, and it's real time. I mean, that's incredible, because like you got to think these bigger concerts, like the poor guy in the back, you know, that can't see the show, like you could just see it right here too. At the same time, you can see it right like far away, but it's like real time right here, right on your device, and it looks really crystal clear. I mean, those kinds of things are game changers for that experience, because that's what we want at the end of the day, the best experience.
And not only for the people in the concert, but for anybody in the world.
That's crazy.
You can sell those seats.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
it's incredible.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity to revolutionize, you know, that with technology. So, Steve, you have a lot of experience with a fan community. So, I want to tell something we've been up to at Qualcomm. You know, people that really care about technology, care about what's behind the screen of their smartphone. And we're going to be launching a brand new platform, which is called Snapdragon Insider. It's going to be a platform for fans to engage with technology, to be able to know what's the latest thing in technology, to provide feedback. And I would like to get advice from you, since you have, if you have been engaging with fans, you know, what advice you have to give to us about how to engage with fans, especially the ones that are going to be really in tune with the latest technology.
I think it's always, doesn't matter what you do, it's quality content. You know, like for me, it's music, you know, and of course I have other platforms and other things that I do. But you want to be of service. At the end of the day, I'm of service to the community that supports me. And the more you're of service to them and the more you give to them, you know, the more they give back to you. And if you give great, unique service, you know, for me, it's my music and my live shows. Those are like two probably most important service that I give to my fans. So you give that kind of quality content experience and you do it consistently. I think it's really important. You know, really great being of service, giving quality to your fans and the people that support you, and be consistent with what you do.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, so here we are, 2021. I'm starting out very hopeful of where things will go. I mean, we obviously 2020, we were stuck in our homes, quarantining, hoping for this pandemic to end. And, you know, I'm very hopeful. My bread and butter, my heart and soul is in live shows, you know, and I am like just desperately wanting it in a safe way, of course. And I'm hopeful, you know, and I can't wait for us to get back to be able to you know, want to be out there, because there's something special that you can't explain in any other setting. And, you know, just like what we're talking about, the technology that you're bringing up, that's really exciting. That's going to be able to bring that experience more real time to people. I think a lot of what happened in 2020 is laying the groundwork of having that experience more open and you know, and something that's going to be more accessible for people.
I couldn't agree with you more. When you look at what happened in 2020, the pandemic, and when everybody had to go home, but you still wanted to connect, as you said, we need to connect with each other. You know, technology play a key role in keeping everybody connected, and to some extent, I've been saying this, you know, over the past, you know, 3 to 6 months. What it would take normally 5 to 10 years for the potential technology to be understood, it was understood in about 3 months into the pandemic. Wow. And because we knew, you know, we need to connect people. And so I think, you know, the potential to have a lot of technology in the venues itself for users to be connected with their social, sharing their experience, their friends, connect with the artists, the ability for people in different locations to experience that concert if they're not be able to be physically there. You'll be able to experience the same thing that somebody's sharing with you.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to add too, as an artist, I like what you're saying is that at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want to be able to connect with as many people as possible, you know, and in all the different ways that I can. And just like you said, 2020, we had no choice. We had to use technology to connect with people. Everyone did. And that's how we were able to communicate, how we were able to function as human beings, as businesses, as musicians, as artists, whatnot. We have to use technology to connect. So being able to amplify that with real-time connection together and get all of it, I mean, that's a no-brainer for artists like myself.
It's a win-win.
All right, guys, South by Southwest, that was a lot of fun. You know, like here in my studio, this is my home. Welcome to my office. I'm so happy doing this with Cristiano. It was such a great conversation, talking about the future of how we're going to be listening to music, how we're going to be accessing all this stuff. It's just exciting. It's exciting stuff.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here. This is a big shout out to South by Southwest for inviting us. Very happy to be here with Steve at his studio. And we're excited about what the future holds, especially in the world of music.